Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com along with our basketball analyst, Jordan Harper. Today, we're talking about Avery Johnson and the current situation here with the Alabama basketball program. Jordan Harper has been right on the scene. I mean, a couple days before the news even broke, he was right on it, saying that this was the potential outcome, that Alabama and Avery Johnson would be discussing some sort of buyout options in terms of the next steps to get Avery Johnson out of Alabama and to bring in a new head basketball coach. I'm here with Jordan Harper. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Well, it was a late night last night. I was expecting to get in bed around 9:30 or 10, but stayed up to about midnight or 1 after since the news broke and everything. But other than that, I'm fine.
So let's get right down to it. What does the current buyout options look like? And let's start there. I mean, there was currently, and from what I understand, it's an $8 million buyout. If they wait till mid-April, it's a $6 million buyout. The negotiations are going on right now. What are you hearing?
Well, as late as last night, I've heard that this should be done by today. I would say this afternoon around 3 or 4 o'clock. But I don't think that they're going to be able to wait until the April 15th date to where it drops to $6 million because late signing period is right around the corner. There's a big time recruit down in Mountain Brook High School, Trenton Watford, that is going to sign apparently going to make his decision at the Jordan Brand Classic in late April. So he kind of needs to know if they're going to really go after him. He needs to know who's going to be there. So do the fellow signees, Jalen Forbes, Jaden Shackelford, and Juwan Gary. I expect probably one of those to leave if I had to say Jalen Forbes. But they just need to get this done and out of the way strike it while the iron's hot. And what I'm hearing right now is that it is being negotiated. So it does sound like it's going to go down from the $8 million. It's been no secret that people have said that the Johnsons really do not like living in Tuscaloosa, particularly his wife. And I think that they want to get out and look for a new job as soon as possible, and so does Alabama. They want to get their potential coach. I think Greg Byrne probably has a few already in mind, some that he may have already contacted. So I feel like they just want to get this on the road, get this done, and what I think is they'll probably meet in the middle on the buyout, probably get it between $3 and $5 million to drop it down, just so both parties will be happy.
We're here with Jordan Harper, our basketball analyst at BamaInsider.com. Let's start with a couple things, and we'll talk about Avery Johnson. What, in your opinion, Jordan, what do you think he did right here at Alabama?
What he did right is he took a program that was down in the dumps after Anthony Grant was fired. Wasn't a lot of marketing going on for the program. Nobody really knew about Alabama basketball anymore since Mark Gottfried left. Anthony Grant took it over, and I mean, he made one NCAA tournament as well, but other than that, there wasn't much talk about Alabama basketball. And they hired a big name in Avery Johnson, who has, TV experience on ESPN. Everybody knows him. And what he did is he just built the brand of Alabama basketball back. And he got a lot of big ranked victories. He had a very good ranked record. He did well on the national stage on national television. Always won the first game of the SEC tournament. So what he did is he really built the brand, made it a place where high-star recruits wanted to come, like Colin Sexton and John Petty, something that Alabama hasn't gotten in quite some time. So it's really opened the eyes to other recruits. It got the fans back engaged. I mean, it was hard not to get excited after his opening press conference. It was something that made people want to tune in to Alabama basketball again. And that's really where the success has happened. I hate that the success on the court didn't happen for him. He's a great guy and great ambassador for Alabama, but sometimes that's just how it works out.
Definitely. I think, in the business, it's about wins and losses. I mean, character-wise, Avery Johnson, I mean, who doesn't like Avery Johnson, right? I mean, such a class act, and what he's done throughout his career, coaching-wise, playing-wise, speaks volumes. But at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. And where do you think the downfall was of Avery Johnson? I mean, the Crimson Tide 18-16 this year, 8-10 in the SEC, finished 10th in conference. End of the season, losing its last 5 of 6 games, really started trending downward. Was it the X's and O's on his side? Was it the recruiting? Was it something else? What's your take on the downfall of Johnson?
I really think that the downfall is how he finished seasons and what went wrong there. Everybody knows that he's been 17-12 through 29 games in the first 4 seasons of his career at Alabama, but losing 4 of 5, 5 of 6, that's happened every year for Avery. He's been square on the bubble, even a lock for a tournament at some point in early February, but it always just fell off at the end. Now, whether that's conditioning and the players get tired near the end of the season, I'm not for sure. But him being able to get his players up to play motivated at the end of the season was really the downfall. I'm not saying that it's a X's and O's standpoint per se, but what he tries to run in college it seems like it just kind of flares out after the beginning of the season because there's a lot of tape on it, and teams really adjust very quickly.
Now, when we look at recruiting under Avery Johnson, what is your assessment in that department?
Well, he's been a star recruiter. I mean, he's gotten great talent here. John Petty, Colin Sexton, even had Braxton Key. And people forget he had Terrence Ferguson, who's a star for the Oklahoma City Thunder, committed to Alabama before, that he couldn't qualify for college, kind of came out. But he has recruited very high-quality talent to Alabama, and he has it on this team. And whoever takes over this team is pretty much walking into a mini gold mine for the amount of talent he has. I mean, you got Kira Lewis, John Petty, and you got a top 10 recruiting class coming in this year with potentially Trendon Watford. So he has built something here at Alabama to where the next coach is going to be built for success. Avery kind of walked into a team that was very depleted. The cupboard wasn't bare, but there wasn't a lot of snacks in it, if you catch my drift. So he didn't have a lot to play with. But he built this roster very well, and that shows to the amount of recruiting that he does, and it's just the people person he is. I had no doubt that he would be a good recruiter in college. It was just whether the coaching aspect was going to pan out or not.
I wanted to play this clip right here. It's of Avery Johnson speaking after his loss to Norfolk State. Here's Avery Johnson following that game.
This team right now, just can you speak to that? This program going forward?
Well, I love being the coach here at Alabama. That's my plan. I made that crystal clear to Greg in our meeting, and hopefully they feel the same way. But I'm committed to it. I still have time left, obviously, on my contract. And when I came to Alabama, I had other options, but I wanted to make a commitment to help and develop and we help kids and help some of them become first-generation graduates from college, help some make it to the NBA. We've done both of those things. Help this team make it to the NCAA tournament in advance. We've done that. So, yeah, we have a little bit of a setback this year, but I know this is microwave era where it's always, blow the team up, blow the staff up when you don't get the results you want. But when you don't get the results you want, you work hard. I feel we have the right people. We have a nice recruiting class coming in. But we just got to get better. We got to get better. And,
So listening to that soundbite right there with Avery Johnson following their loss to Norfolk State, Jordan, do you think, honestly, that Avery still wants to be at Alabama? I know it could be coach speak. Maybe he wants to get out as well. Do you think, honestly, if he was given the opportunity to stay at Alabama, he would stay?
I think he would stay just for the fact that I don't know if he has any jobs lined up. I haven't heard of anything. There was always those Cleveland Cavaliers who are returning to the NBA rumors. But I believe that would be the only reason that he would stay. I think that he saw an opportunity at Alabama. I know he wants to get back into coaching. He loves it. That's his passion. But I think he saw an opportunity to get into college and coach while his son's still a freshman and he can coach his son for 3 to 4 years. And I think that was something that was appealing to him. It's a new challenge for him. So there was a lot of appealing aspects for him to come to Alabama. Now, I do believe over the 3 to 4 years that he's been here that he's realized that he just doesn't like coaching in college. You can tell his temperament and everything. He just feels like he should be in the NBA. I feel like he has unfinished business there with how he fell off with the Mavericks and then with the Brooklyn Nets. So, I mean, I think it's half and half for him. Half of him wants to stay just because he doesn't want his career to end this way at Alabama, but the other half, he really wants to be in professional basketball.
I'm eager to get your take on this. And by the way, thanks for listening. This is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com alongside Jordan Harper. We're coming to you from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, talking about Avery Johnson, the Alabama basketball team. You can catch all the coverage on BamaInsider.com. Some great stuff going on right now with spring football. And, of course, we're breaking down the latest news on Avery Johnson. I'm eager to get this take from you, Jordan. Can Alabama really be a basketball school? I mean, you look at Duke. Of course, they're always going to be a basketball school, but we all know they're not going to be a football program. They're never going to be a top 10 program. We look at Kentucky, and Kentucky, sure, they've had their success in football a little bit, but they're a basketball school. Can Alabama really be the pinnacle of college football and have a top 25, top 15 yearly basketball program, in your opinion?
I think they can, but it's a very difficult sell. With Nick Saban here, it's hard to get a big time coach just throwing names out there like Brad Stevens or Billy Donovan. If you were to go approach them, they're not going to be their egos are not going to want to be second fiddle to Nick Saban. They want to be the face of the program, face of the school. That's just how they want to be, and that's how the big coaches want to be, and I don't blame them. But to answer your question, I do believe Alabama can be a basketball school. It just starts at the top with the administration. They have to put the money into it. They have to put the effort into it. And, for the past decade or two, they really haven't. Ever since Whip Sanderson left, I mean, the money going into basketball has been at a minimal. I mean, they have a new renovation coming, but that's supposedly going to be in 2 to 3 years. It got pushed back for the Bryant-Denny Stadium renovations that are going on. So that kind of shows you where the school is in terms of what they want to be successful first. They're a football first school. That's no secret. But to see the success that people like Wimp Sanderson had or CM Newton had, of course it can be done. I mean, CM was back in the Bear Bryant days, so I mean it can happen. But also the administration back then obviously wanted both to succeed, and they put forth the effort to do it. So until you start seeing some change in the administration, like Greg Byrne putting in the resources that they need, I don't see it happening. But I think Greg Byrne is a basketball guy. He's a baseball guy. It showed with the hire of Brad Bohannon. It was a great hire, and I think that he's going to thoroughly go through this coaching search and make sure he gets the right guy, because he's not going to want to hire a basketball coach again.
If you want to check out the coaching hot board, we're going to have one on BamaInsider.com with the help of Jordan Harper, Tony Scalis. We're going to put that together here in the next, 24 hours or so on BamaInsider.com. Jordan, a name that everybody has been talking about. He graduated from Alabama, is Steve Prohm, current Iowa State coach. He's been there since 2015. Coached at Murray State in 2011 and 2015. The guy has a wonderful overall record coaching college hoops, 186 and 81, reached a Sweet 16 in 2015, 2016. And as I said, he's currently the head coach of Iowa State, who's the number 16, taking on number 11 Ohio State. That game is Friday night. Is he a name that is absolutely appealing? I mean, don't give everyone the names on the hot board list, but maybe let's talk about Prohm and talk about, maybe another name that people should be watching for as we go through this coaching search.
Well, I found out recently his name is actually Steve Prohm. I've been saying Prohm too, but the Steve Prohm is an interesting fit for Alabama. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that he was a student assistant, a manager at Alabama before he graduated from Alabama. and went on to be the coach at Murray State, where he was, pretty successful, and then landed the Iowa State job after Fred Hoiberg left for the Bulls. Now, he is a very interesting hire. It will be a coach that is a former Alabama graduate, which is very similar to what Mark Godfrey was. But I believe that Steve Prohm is a very good option. It wouldn't be my first call if I was Greg Byrne. I would make other big guys tell me no first, but he would definitely be a good third or fourth option outside of the home run type hires. But if he were to be hired by Alabama, I really think that it would be a change of culture. I do not expect any of the assistants to come back. Petway would be the one exception, but I'm not sure that he would even be retained. I think it would be kind of an overhaul, and I mean, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Influencing the players on the current team to stay, the current signees. I mean, this is a talented roster. You want to keep it intact and keep the signing class intact, and then you have to go sell to Trendon Watford, and that's going to be a big key as well. Watford's not a program changing prospect by any means, but he's still a top 30 player, and he will bring a different dynamic to this Alabama team. So Prohm wouldn't be my first choice, but it definitely seems like he's the one that Alabama has their eyes set on.
Throw out one more name before we end the show, Jordan.
One more name I would look out for is Eric Musselman. He's the head coach at Nevada, who recently just lost to Florida last night. He's a guy that took over Nevada, and I mean, he was a top 5 team earlier this season in the Midwest. So that's very impressive. He had a team full of graduate transfers, so a lot of his players won't be back next season, and it's a guy to keep an eye on. He has a pretty impressive track record. He's a good offensive coach, which is the style that a lot of Alabama administration people want to have to keep up with Bruce Pearl. So that's one name to keep an eye on.
All right, for the complete coaching hot board, head on over to BamaInsider.com. We'll have that published here over the next couple days, and we look forward to more coverage, Jordan. You've definitely been a great asset to the basketball side of things. For spring football coverage, head on over to Bama Insider as well. Tony Sukalis has some great coverage. We have some great videos, and, of course, on the recruiting scene, Andrew Bone always doing his thing, the best in the business. If you're interested in the free trial, if you want to get behind that paywall and get the nuggets every single day, look for the promo code Simply Roll Tide at checkout. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is Kyle Henderson along with Jordan Harper on the BamaInsider.com podcast. We will catch you guys soon. Thanks for listening, and we will talk soon on the message boards, hopefully. Talk of Champions. We'll catch you soon. Thanks for listening.